What's up, guys, and welcome back to a brand new episode of my podcast, Happy Days, with me, Callum Church. Today I'm going to talk a little bit about something that's been on my mind recently. What is this thing? It's open-mindedness, okay? Open-mindedness. Recently I put up a TikTok video. It was of me and Jack Wettenstill. It was a clip from the podcast where we were talking about work-life balance, and Jack was talking about how he doesn't want to be the kind of dad that works the typical 9-to-5 lifestyle where they work all day, they're stressed out, they get home late from work, they don't have any energy, or they're not in the mood to spend time with their kids and stuff, and he was basically just saying that he doesn't want to be that. And I sort of added to the conversation saying, yeah, sure, like I don't want to start and grow a business. I want to start and grow a certain lifestyle that allows me to incorporate both my work and my family and my general life all into one, and make it all work together. And that video did quite well, got a fair few views, but it also came with a lot of hate. Surprisingly, a lot of people saying, you need to get out of fairyland, stop spending so much time on the internet and get in the real world. That was something that someone said. And it was a lot of people with a victim mindset. A lot of people are sitting there saying, that's not possible. Get in the real world. Life's not like that. Life's hard. You got to work for a living. All these sorts of comments. And, that kind of exactly goes to show why those people were commenting in the first place. Me and Jack were putting something positive out there online. We were talking about the possibility of creating a lifestyle in which you can be a great dad, be happy in yourself, not have to work so much and feel tired and stressed out from that. You can build a lifestyle around it, and maybe that's through entrepreneurship. I think it is for me, which is why I'm so interested in it, right? So yeah, that was what I saw. But what I took from that, and this is why it's been on my mind recently, this whole idea around open-mindedness, because what I took from that was that the reason why they're commenting right there is exactly the same reason why they're stuck in the situation they are. Those kind of comments are exactly why those people will never be deemed successful, quote unquote successful. And it's exactly the reason why they won't be able to break out of that kind of lifestyle. It's exactly the reason why they think that life is hard, because they're so focused on that victim mindset. They're so focused on the fact, in their eyes, the fact that life is hard and you got to work for life, and all of these nonsensical claims, and that's it. It's the victim mentality coming into it. They believe their struggle is why they aren't successful. Okay, but if you look at people that are successful and have made that journey, a lot of the time, the reason why they're successful is because of their struggle. It's not the struggle that's holding them back. It's because of the struggle. And I'm not saying that struggle is necessarily the key to success. Obviously, you get both sides of the coin with that. But what does matter the most, and what I think is an enormous component of a successful life, is mindset. And it's your perception. It's the way you approach these things. Again, it's sort of going back to that very cliche and sometimes over-quoted story about the two twins with an alcoholic dad. And I'll tell it again briefly now for those that haven't heard of it. Basically, there are two twin sons, have exactly the same upbringing. They're both raised by an alcoholic father. In the future, further down the line, once those boys are grown up, one is super successful, leader of a company, rich, famous, whatever you perceive success to be. And the other one is an alcoholic, just like his father. So people go and ask them both the same question. They say, why are you the way you are? How did you get into your place right now? And the alcoholic son says, well, it was because my father, I was brought up by an alcoholic dad. And then they speak to the successful one and they ask him, why are you the way you are? How did you get to where you are right now? And he said, well, I was raised by an alcoholic dad. I was brought up by an alcoholic dad. And the subtle difference between these two boys is simply their mindset. One took on their upbringing positively and the other one took it on, negatively. And that's the thing. These people in these comments, they have such a closed mind. They're not open to the possibility of what could be. They're not open to the possibility that life could be good. Life could be fun. Life doesn't have to be hard. We don't have to, absolutely work our asses off in a 9 to 5. I mean, by all means, you have to work hard in life. I believe that. That's my opinion. But you don't have to live a life in which you struggle, and you don't have to live a life in which you, it's not fun, because if you're not having fun, what's the bloody point, right? Anyways, open-mindedness is the absolute key to all of this. It really is, because if you're not open to the possibility, you're never going to get there, and if you're not open to change, or, a change of circumstances, a change of mindset, a change of whatever, you are ultimately not open to growth. So how are you going to get out of that situation? The fact is, you're not. Think about it. Scientists, they have to have an open mind, don't they? Otherwise, science would be totally stagnant. A few hundred years ago, people thought that, well, maybe a little bit more than a few hundred years. But yeah, hundreds of years ago, people thought the Earth was flat. Hundreds of years ago, people thought that the Earth was the centre of the universe. A few hundred years ago, people thought that the sun was orbiting the Earth. Obviously that's different, and the reason for that is because scientists were open to the possibility of something a little bit more near the truth. They were open to the possibility of them being wrong. That's ultimately the key to all of this. There's a quote from Marcus Aurelius from his book Meditations, and it's something like this. He talks about open-mindedness, and it goes like this. If someone is able to show me that what I think or do is not right, I will happily change. For I seek the truth, by which no one was ever truly harmed. It is the person who continues in his self-deception and ignorance who is truly harmed, And that's the truth, really, isn't it? All of these victims that I had in my TikTok comments, they're the ones that are truly being harmed. It's their own self-deception and ignorance to the possibilities of life is what's keeping them behind, right? Think about it. If they took on that TikTok positively, maybe they'd be making changes in their lives, or at least working towards maybe creating a life that's more enjoyable. But instead they took it on negatively, and they just further sit in that negative energy. And that's not going to get them anywhere, is it? Again, another quote here I've got from Albert Einstein. He's a scientist. He had to be open-minded to the possibility of what could be a little bit more near the truth. He had to be open-minded to the possibility that science was partly wrong, The measurement of intelligence is the ability to change. That's what Albert Einstein said. And that's incredibly wise. Incredibly wise. There is a reason why there's 36 seats on a bus and only 2 in a Lambo. There's also a reason why there are thousands of people in a crowd and only 1 up on that stage. It's because those that are successful are more open to being different. Those that are successful are more open to being outliers. They don't have to go with the crowd. They don't have to, sit in what's normal, what's common. They're open. Their minds are open to the new, to the change, to the different. Think different. That's Steve Jobs, Apple. It's Apple's slogan in one of their adverts. And I think you can look at that from... I think it's incredibly clever. I think you can look at that from many angles, and it's great branding. Think different, A brand which is, related to success, or the successful, or the peak, the elite, the top, upper echelon of, successful people striving for success or change, being better. Apple wanted to innovate, and in order to do that, they had to think different. They had to be different. They had to be open to change, open to possibilities. So I think this is just something which we should think about. I think open-mindedness is something which is heavily underrated in the self-development scene. And also I think it's something which is incredibly important, So with that, that's the end of today's episode. But, before I do truly round this off, I just want to say that where can you be a little bit more open-minded in your life? Because truly, in my experience, it's the things in which I've been open-minded where I've found the most value or joy, or even success, If we're not open to change, we're not open to growth. So let's think about that. Anyway, as I say, that is the end of today's episode. I do truly hope that you did enjoy it as always. If you did, please consider leaving a 5-star review on Apple Podcasts because it does truly help the show. Also, leave me a feedback. I want to hear from you guys. Drop me a DM on Instagram. My Instagram handle is @callum.g.church. You can message me there. And again, I do truly hope that you did enjoy today's episode, and I'll see you in the next one. Take care, guys. So there you go, that's the end of the show. If you enjoyed, make sure to subscribe on your podcasting app of choice, so you can download and listen as each episode is released. If this episode helped you in any way, tell your friends, tell your family, maybe even leave a cheeky review on Apple Podcasts. It really helps the show. But that's all for now. I hope you have a wonderful day, and I'll see you in the next episode, released shortly. Take care.